Looks pretty good. I think it's too dark. Hold on. That's better. I'm gonna do it this way. Check it out. The straw hat has an official place on my wall now. I also got these super cool lights. My girlfriend totally didn't hang them up for me, I swear. Production values going up in my videos, folks. Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the only YouTube channel on the internet. And if you're new here, come on in. You're invited in. You're welcome here. Today, I'm in pretty good spirits because, for one, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. For two, I just finished reading the Zou Arc, and that shit slapped, bro. That shit slapped harder than a paddle against a ping pong ball. I swear to God, that was just 20 chapters of pure ecstasy. I fucking love One Piece, bro. I don't feel like I've said that enough. I love One Piece. And I am so excited to talk about it, so let's just hop right into it. But first, I'm gonna light this candle because I want to. Ow. Nice. So first off about this arc, I just want to say that this island is one of the most creative ideas that Oda has had for an island in the entire series so far. Just the concept of an entire civilization on the back of this ancient elephant that is just walking endlessly. It's amazing. It's such a creative idea. And also when we finally get there and our characters are exploring it, the gorgeous double panel, like full view depictions of the scenery is just breathtaking. I love when Oda is able to instill this sense of exploration and world building just by showing you what a place looks like. And for something like Zou, which is only like this 20 chapter arc, he did not have to do that, but he did it anyway, and it made the arc that much better because this is a place that felt so rich and full of adventure to find, and it was just amazing seeing the characters find this place and then discover all the amazing things that it has to offer. But before they even get on the elephant, there's that hilarious bit with the dragon that, what's-his-face draws, the one of the samurai, can't remember his name, but the guy who draws, they're climbing up the side of the elephant, except for the dragon that he drew is really bad, and it doesn't exactly have the function to be able to climb, and so it's struggling, but they're cheering him on because he's trying his best, and then they get up there and it's a drawing, so it just disappears, and they have like a little eulogy they do. I don't know why. It was one of the funniest bits that we've had in One Piece in a while, and I really liked just that whole intro. Actually, the humor as a whole was really good in this 20 chapter arc. There was the whole thing with the animals really liking to touch people, and the fact that cats and dogs hated each other. Like small things like that were just littered throughout this arc that were just hilarious. And on the topic of humor, I also really loved when they eventually, I'm skipping way ahead, but when they get to Raizo, the ninja, and they're like begging him to show off his ninjutsu, and he's like, no, a ninja never does it for fun, and they all look gloomy, and then he does like a little, he's like, they're not party tricks, and then he does them anyway. I loved that part. I also loved that it was this little homage to Naruto, which Oda did another one, homage, oh my god, homage to Naruto in one of the cover stories, and it's just really feel good to show those two mangas sort of interacting and the respect that they have for each other. So I loved that little bit. It was a nice little Easter egg there. So anyway, I'm gonna split this up into like 4 chunks because I feel like there's a lot that I need to talk about, but first, let's just address the island itself and the people on it and sort of what's going on with them. So I believe we had heard about the minks a while ago, or at least heard of them, and it turns out that they are an entire race of complete and utter Chads. I keep throwing around the title of Chad a lot in this series, but there are a lot of Chads in One Piece, and the entire race of minks, they're all fucking Chads. Because I fully believed them when we're finally discovering what had happened, because the whole place is destroyed. When we're finally learning what happened is that Jack the Ripper came on behalf of Kaido to basically find this ninja named Raizo. And all of the minks, all of them collectively are like, we don't know who that is. He's not here. We can't tell you anything. Even as they're tortured, even as they have their limbs cut off, even as they approach certain death to poison gas, all of them stick to that story. And then it turns out that Raizo was there the whole time. What an emotion-filled reveal. Oh my god. Holy shit. All of those minks are so Chadly that not a single one of them caved. That's crazy. That was legit like one of the most emotion-filled moments in the entire story. In 10 chapters. Less than 10 chapters even. That is how insanely good this fucking arc is, bro. Just that, the whole way it plays out with the samurai, and then they step out and they're like, where is Raizo? And you just see tears come to all of the Mink's eyes, and they're like, Raizo is safe. Oh my god, what a moment. What a moment, dude. I totally never saw that coming. I would have believed them too if I was the people that had come looking. I like 100%. The fact that in this situation, normal everyday Minks that aren't like the leaders or anything are willing to die because of their loyalty. Man, it's a fucking island full of Zoros, bro. It's a full island of Zoros. I also really loved the leaders of the Minks, the cat and dog, and that they couldn't be awake at the same time lest they cross paths as their mortal enemies. What a goofy little bit to include in such a dark scenario. But before I dive too deep into them, because their whole thing, it gets really deep into the main story, so I'm gonna get to that like last. But next, I gotta talk about my boy, Sanji. I've been very outspoken about my love for Sanji on my YouTube channel, and you know what? He just keeps getting better. He just keeps improving as a character. At the end of my last episode, I talked about how there was the wanted poster with Sanji, and it said only alive, and I was hoping that that was gonna get resolved quickly, and it gets resolved pretty fast. Obviously, there's a lot that I don't know, but now I have a lot more context as to why that is. It turns out he's from this family of, like, assassins, I guess, that are called the Vinsmoke family. And it's insane just how far back Oda set this shit up, because it was all the way back in, like, Alabasta when Sanji was saying that he came from the North Blue, which at the time, I actually remembered that. I remembered that little comment, but I didn't think it was ever going to come into play. But then they explained that to do that, he has to, it's not easy to come to the East Blue from the North Blue. Like, it's a whole expedition. So that's something he set up so long ago. It took forever for that to pay off. I can't imagine having read this all the way from like the beginning, and then like I would have forgotten that. It would have been however long ago, like 15 fucking years ago, when that little detail was dropped. And then for it to come into fruition now is fucking crazy. That is insane. Oda is too smart, man. He's too fucking smart. But he is being married off to this daughter of Big Mom. It's like the 35th daughter or something crazy. It seems like really the only reason he's accepting is to protect the safety of his crew and of anybody that he loves and cares about. Because if he was to decline, the Big Mom pirates would essentially send him a head in a box. If you ask me, Sanji is just as loyal as anybody else in the crew when it really comes down to it. And I know that sometimes outwardly he doesn't portray that, and even sometimes the things he says, it doesn't seem like that. But every single time that it comes down to the wire and he is needed, he always pulls through. And I love that about him. Because let's be honest, sometimes he is a dick. Sometimes he is just straight up a horn dog, and he says he doesn't care about what happens to any of the men because he's so obsessed with women. So yes, sometimes outwardly it seems like he might not be that loyal, but when it comes down to it, he is willing to go to the dirt for anyone that he cares about. Anyone of the crew, anyone that he has respect for, anyone. He is willing to go down for them. But he leaves a note for the crew, and he's like, essentially, I'm gonna go meet a woman, but I will be back. Obviously, with this plotline, there are a lot more questions than there are answers right now, so I don't have a whole lot that I actually want to address regarding it. I'm probably gonna save a lot of my talking points for once I understand the situation a little better, which I'm assuming I'm gonna learn a lot more about it here in the coming chapters. All I'll say for now is that Sanji has always been one of my favorite characters, and I'm really excited for him to take the spotlight in this way, because I just think he's this really well-written character, that he has depth to him. He's not just this morally upright guy all the time who's always this great person who never falters in his morals or whatever. He is someone who is more of a mixed bag, but when it comes down to it, he's just a really good guy. And I think that him taking the spotlight is going to be a great thing for me, because every time, like I said in a couple episodes ago, every time he does something hype, I get so excited. His moments just hit hard for me. So I'm ready for this, man. I'm ready for this. I also like that he had this sort of sulky attitude and he was trying to be this like tough guy smoking his cigarette over by the railing when he was going off with the gangster guy McGee. I can't remember his name, but when he's with him and then the guy shows him the lady he's gonna be marrying and his eyes and tongue immediately shoot out his hearts because of course it's Sanji. Of course he's going to simp for her. But anyway, I'm going to save most of my thoughts about Sanji for later, so let's get into my next big point that I want to talk about. That is the massive amount of world building that is done in this arc. So when the crew finds Raizo, there is a red poneglyph behind him, which we find out is called a road poneglyph. There are 4 of them, and at the center of where they all intersect is the island where the One Piece may or may not be, which is huge. It's so exciting that we finally are getting information about the One Piece, because right now, it's been so nebulous up until this point in the series. It's been so vague. Like, we literally had no idea. The best idea anyone had was that it was on Raftel at the end of the Grand Line. But now we know that there is a more specific location. We have more information about how everything is tying together, because honestly, the One Piece itself has taken such a sideline in this series. The One Piece has not mattered almost at all. There's been like a few moments where it's kind of taken the spotlight a little bit, but now we're finally getting like endgame information here. Let's fucking go! I'm so excited! And it turns out that 2 of the other road poneglyphs are owned by Kaido and Big Mom, which is perfect for the story. It intersects so well with everything else that's going on, with Sanji being fucking kidnapped by Big Mom, so they already have a conflict set up with Big Mom, and also when Luffy was challenging Big Mom way back in Fishman Island, and now they have to set up with Kaido because of the whole thing that just went down with Doflamingo, and so everything is coming together in such a beautiful way. Dog, I'm literally sweating. I'm literally sweating right now. I'm so excited. This shit is so exciting, dude. It's so awesome. The way that everything is finally, like coming together in this way that is so perfect. And I could not be happier right now. And this is only the tip of the iceberg of everything that we learned. There's a lot more that I gotta get to. Another thing that we learn is that Momo is actually the son of this guy named Lord Odin from Wano that used to sail with Gold Roger, which is, he went to the island with Roger. And so the samurai and the minks, they're all kind of this giant, like, group that is very loyal to each other and that have this long history. And then we find out that the clan that all of these samurai are from, the Kozuki clan, are the ones that made the poneglyphs. And since Odin was with Roger when he went to Raftel and learned the secret of the world, that everyone assumes that these samurai now also know the secret of the world, which is why Doflamingo was trying to get them to get that information to give to Kaido, who has now taken over Wano with his group of beastmen. Everything is intersected. I fucking love this story. Okay, I'm gonna calm down a little bit. Another thing about that is that we also find out that the cat and dog and someone else, I think, were on Whitebeard's ship, and then they were also on Roger's ship. A cool little, like, history thing there going on. Okay, now that I'm done talking about, like, the main story stuff, there is a lot of stuff going on just in the world. There's a spinning wheel of stuff going on outside of the main story, which, by the way, is like one of my favorite things about One Piece, is that because Oda adds all these things going on that are happening sort of in the background that aren't exactly what our main characters are doing, it feels like the world is so much more alive. Like there's this inner working that's always going on in the One Piece world. It's not just something that we experience through the lens of our protagonists. It's its own living, breathing world, and there is always stuff going on. So one of the first things that we see is that Burgess from Blackbeard's crew has found the revolutionary headquarters, and he's calling Blackbeard to tell him where it is. I don't know what beef Blackbeard has with the revolutionaries, but Blackbeard destroys the revolutionary headquarters. Another thing about Blackbeard that we learn is that last year, he had a giant war against Marco and the rest of Whitebeard's crew, and he actually defeated them. So I don't know what's going on with Blackbeard, but this character remains so fascinating. He always has something going on. I feel like his fingers have been in kind of almost everything in this story. He's like been pulling strings silently in a weird way, sort of like Doflamingo, where he's kind of got this weird like boiling pot of things that he's brewing up in the background, and you never really know what's going on. Like, we don't know how he can take multiple Devil Fruits yet. There's all sorts of mystery surrounding that character, and he's just so cool. He's so interesting, and I want more of him in this story. The other thing that's going on right now is that all of the world leaders are preparing for the reverie in Marijoa. I'm willing to admit that I let out quite a loud yelp when Vivi showed back up on the page. She remains one of my favorite side characters in all of One Piece, so I was really happy to see her again, and it was just so cool seeing all these nations sort of mobilize and gear up for this enormous meeting, which I have no doubt will be fucking incredible whenever it happens. And that's just one of many things that is set up right now, because all of the characters are sort of splitting up right now. Luffy has his group. I can't remember everyone who's in it right now. It's like Nami, Chopper, a few people from Zou, and then there's obviously Peckham from the Whole Cake Island, or from Big Mom. They're going to Whole Cake Island, but they're bringing Peckham with them to sort of, I guess, gain entry. I don't really know what the plan is there. And then I believe it's Zoro and Usopp are staying behind with the samurai to try and get into Wano. I think it's Cat Guy who's going after Marco because he wants to talk to Marco about something. And then there's another group going somewhere else. There was a lot. I need to go back and probably look. There's like a page that explains where everyone's going, but there's a lot going on. A lot of people going to different places, and so much has been set up for the future. Because Luffy not only has an alliance with Law against Kaido now, he also said that he would assist the samurai and Momo to also fight Kaido. So he 100% is going to have that confrontation. But he already set up a confrontation with Big Mom. He are directly heading towards one right now with Sanji. So he has two emperors on his ass right now, which is crazy because that happened so fast. And he is not even flinching in the face of all that, which is fucking, I love Luffy for that, man. I mean, shit, dog, out of literally all of the major players right now, the only one that really didn't come into play was Shanks in this fucking arc, like in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, apart from the One Piece itself, and like the Will of D and the 100-Year Void or whatever, I want to know about Shanks perhaps the most. There is so much mystery around that character, and I just, every time he's on page, I'm just like, give me more, but he only pops in for like a few chapters at a time at most, and that he doesn't really do much, and dude, give me more Shanks, please. What else? Oh, yeah, that's right, Kaido beat the shit out of Kid, which I don't really know him all that well, but F in the chat for that guy. And now Kaido is officially pissed at the Straw Hats because of everything that went down with Doflamingo, because now he doesn't have his supply of Smile anymore. But I gotta say that his whole tantrum that he was throwing, it sounded like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum. He was like, we were gonna build the greatest army of all time. We were gonna do this, we were gonna do that, and now we can't accomplish any of it. He's a very strange character so far. I can't wait to find out more about him. Oh, a couple more like really big things that I can't believe I forgot about. So Jack the Ripper, when he shows up, we find out that he has a 1 billion berry bounty, which is fucking crazy. I feel like that's way bigger than anything we've seen so far, and that's just a commander under Kaido. This is also a character that we've had hinted at quite a bit throughout this series, so it was cool to finally see him, and honestly, he's kind of an idiot. He kind of takes a fat fucking L in this arc when he's trying to take down the elephant, and then the elephant literally fucking one-shots him with his trunk. Like, maybe don't pick a fight with a giant fucking elephant. Maybe that's not the best idea. I don't know, man. But this is another really cool thing that happens in Zou, is that when they're getting bombarded, both Momo and Luffy can hear the elephant talking to them. This is yet another example of Luffy being able to somehow hear and communicate with nature. Although he's not able to actually speak back to this elephant in this situation, Momo is though, and he's actually able to see through the elephant's eyes. What the fuck is going on with that shit, dude? That's so cool. And and then he's able to command him, you can do this, which we find out, this is another thing, oh my god, that the elephant, he like committed a crime or something, and he's been basically sentenced to walk forever. And he's like, please give me the command. Let me do this just this once. And so he's like, defend yourself. And then he's literally able to fucking banish all of those pirates to the Shadow Realm with one fell swoop of his trunk. Holy shit, dude. That shit was awesome. And it's yet again just another morsel of world building that is piled in the giant feast that is this arc. Oh my god, dude, it's just so good. This is one of my favorite arcs for sure in the entirety of the story, because so much is explained finally, so much is thrown at you, and it's the classic One Piece formula of you get information, you get mysteries in return so that you always want more. It is fantastic the way that Oda has been able to pull that off over and over and over, where he gives you just a little bit, of what you want, and then he throws more mysteries at you to kind of reel you back in. It's genius storytelling. And in fact, the entire arc is sort of set up like that, where at first you're like, what's going on with Sanji? And then you get the answer to that. And then you're like, what's going on with this island? And then you get the answer to that. And then you're like, what's going on with this poneglyph? And then you get the answer to that. And then he sets you up with more mysteries to lead into the next arc. It's genius. It's fucking genius. Do you see this shit, dude? I'm sweating. Oh my god, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm leaving it in the video, though. Anyway, that's about it for the Zou arc. I can't think of anything else right now that I want to talk about. I am unbelievably hype for the Whole Cake Island arc, which is up next. I think it's like 75 chapters is what I saw, and I don't know if I'm going to do 2 or 3 episodes for that. I'm probably going to make a judgment call along the way, depending how much I get fed during this arc, so expect those soon, because oh my god, I am high right now. I am riding strong on this story. I can't fucking wait to see what's next. Dude, I just love One Piece, man. I just love it. I love it so fucking much. Arcs like these that just, dude, it's just, this is the greatest work of fiction I have ever consumed, bar none. It is so good. It is so unbelievably powerful and well written. I can't sing its praise enough. I'm just overwhelmed. This arc was so goddamn good. Anyway, I am gonna go read, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you're happy and healthy. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you then.